Hello, my dear followers. Welcome to my channel and my video. I'm so glad you're here. Today, once again, I'm bringing you a true life story. I should mention that in these stories, I sometimes adjust a few details. Please support me by subscribing to my channel, and let's dive right into the video. Hello, my name is Faith. I'm 22 years old. My life has been full of knots and complications since childhood. There's a memory from when I was 8 that has never left me. I want to share it today. Maybe it will ease my heart a little. I'll tell it simply, because it's already complicated enough. When my parents were still married, my mother's 2 sisters, my aunts, used to visit our house often. They were dominant women. Their way of talking and acting always drew attention. My parents' marriage was already shaky. My father was indifferent. It didn't matter whether he was home or not. At that time, my mother was mostly staying at her father's house, my grandfather's. I lived with my dad in our own home, and my mom would come and go for me. My aunts started visiting even more when my mom wasn't around. They would sit with my dad in the living room, laughing and joking. I was only 8, playing with my toys on the floor, but even at that age, I could feel that something was wrong. It felt like my aunts were trying to pull my father away from my mother, as if they had some plan. One day, they came over again. As you can guess, my mom was at my grandfather's house. They were chatting happily with my dad in the living room, but I felt uneasy. Then, all 3 of them got up and went into the bedroom. They shut the door. I could hear laughter and whispers inside. Of course, I only understood the meaning of certain sounds years later when I was older. When I realized what had really happened, my whole world collapsed. After that, my aunts started coming even more often. They would insult my mom, praise my dad, and suggest that the marriage wouldn't last. My mother was exhausted. Eventually, she couldn't take it anymore and decided to divorce my father. The court gave custody to him, because at that time my mother didn't have a proper home. She was still staying with my grandfather. My father, on the other hand, had a house and a job. He looked more suitable from the outside. But he had no idea how to be a father. There was never food at home, I was often late to school, and most of the time I was alone. My aunts still visited, but I couldn't look at them. That bedroom made me sick because my mother was no longer there. The years passed. By the time I was 15, nothing had really changed with my father. He was rarely home, and when he was, he lived in his own world. By then, my mom had built a life for herself. She had left my grandfather's house, was working, and had her own home. My father's life, however, was falling apart. He drank too much. One night, he got drunk and fought with the neighbors, and the police got involved. The case went to court. My mother argued that my father could no longer take care of me, and the judge agreed. Because of his alcoholism and irresponsibility, custody was given to my mother. Living with her finally gave me the warmth I had missed as a child. Now I'm 22. That memory from when I was 8 is still with me, but it no longer crushes me the way it used to. With my mother, I've found myself again. I don't see my father anymore. I don't see my aunts either. That bedroom, that laughter, it was a sign of how my life would turn out. But now, I'm choosing my own path. How disgusting people can be in this world. How could someone do something like that to their own sister? Honestly, your father was just as bad as they were. And in the end, it was your childhood that suffered the most. I'm so sorry. Thank you for sharing your story with us. So what do you think about this? By the way, please don't forget to support me by subscribing to my channel. I love you all so much. Take care of yourselves, my dears. Goodbye.